Looking for a way to get healthy? The Chef You and I program has the answer. Kathryn, Raaker, and chefs from around the nation will teach even the most inexperienced how to cook. Come into their kitchen and watch them take ordinary foods with loads of calories and fat and turn those foods into healthier dishes. You will be the first to get tips and ideas on foods that are easy to prepare. Now let's join Kathryn and today's chef and learn how to make today's recipes.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of The Chef You and I, and welcome to our show today. We have so many wonderful things to do, and I want to thank all of our sponsors, which 360 Pans, Corn Huskers Kitchen, Duck Fat Spray, and, of course, Circle B Ranch and Marina's Kitchen. And our new sponsor is called Grill Light, and we'll be doing some wonderful things out on the grill, and we can even do it at night. So, let's start with what we're having today. We're actually starting out with an appetizer that I kind of came up with, and that we're going to use 4 pickle cucumbers and cream cheese, tomatoes, teaspoon of lemon pepper, olive juice, and dill chopped. Then we're going to do a wonderful salad called Kathryn Raaker's Fresh Watermelon Salad. And then we're going to do Marina's. This is one of the best I've ever tasted, and you're going to love it too. It's coffee molasses marinated pork chop recipe, and I'm going to teach you how to use the marinade today, and then we're going to do Marina's wonderful Blackberry Cobbler. That's a very simple recipe, and I think you're going to enjoy all of it. So let's start with the marinade first, and these are some of her beautiful pork chops. They're a bone-in pork chop, and they're an inch and a half thick. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So you want to see that. So we're going to make the marinade, and so we need 3/4 for the actual marinade. We need 3/4 of strongly brewed coffee, which I have right here. You're going to add that, and it's supposed to be cooled, right? That's 3/4 of a cup. Then you're going to need 1/3 cup of molasses, dark molasses. And actually, this really is, you can see how dark it is. And the nice thing about it is it smells so good. And I made another batch of this so that we can do all of it today. Then we need 6 to 7 sprigs of dill. So there's one, and you just put now if you don't have sprigs of dill, you can use dill, just ground dill. And I used, on one of the recipes, because I couldn't get the dill, I used about a teaspoon of dill powder. So you want to put those in. Right, and that's about what you need. Okay, so you put that in there, and then you add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which I measured out already. And you also want, I'm not using garlic because you know that I'm allergic to garlic. So actually, if you're using garlic, it's 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, fresh or jarred. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, which this is just a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. And you mix that up, right? Maybe a little bit more. And then 2 tablespoons of, of Dijon, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And this is 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then just stir that up. And your pork chops are going to go into a container like that. I've done it like that before. I've done it lots of different ways. So you want to stir this up so everything is perfect, right? And then you want to add 1/2 teaspoon of, and I made fresh lemon and pepper. And I will give you my recipe on that as well. So that's a half a teaspoon. Okay. And then also what we want to do is, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'll show that to you in something else that I did before. So we're going to mix this up, and we're going to pour this over these pork chops there, and they're going to marinate. So the easiest way for you to do it is actually take a seal bag and put it into that. So I'm going to just do this because guess what? We don't have a lot of time, and I need to get this done. Now, usually you use half of that recipe, right, for your for a glaze. Well, I've already made some ahead of time, and we're going to use that for the glaze. So I want to show you what the actual pork chops look like after they are marinated. So I happen to do these overnight, and this is what they look like when they're finished. They look like this. And actually, turn them over. So I kept turning them over, right? And so that's what it looks like. So we actually have 2 that we're going to put on the grill. Actually, we're going to put 4 on the grill, and we're going to grill those. And you grill them, if you like a little bit of pink in your pork chops, you want to get it to 145, or I prefer 150. But they're really tender, they're really delicious, and that marinade really is delicious. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and we'll be right back after this important message. We're back on the Chef You and I, and the next recipe we're going to do is we're going to do the Blackberry Cobbler. And this is really a yummy, wonderful cake to go with everything that we're having tonight. So usually you use a square pan, but my sponsor is 360 Pans, and I'm going to do it in an 8-inch cake pan. But I'm going to use, because it's non-stick, I'm going to use wonderful duck fat spray on my pans. So you just do like this, and you're done. Okay? You don't want to do it any more than that. If you want less, you can take a paper towel like I usually do sometimes, which I'm going to do today, and just get the excess out because I don't need that much in there. But sometimes I go a little wild with it. So we're next, now that that's ready, okay, we're going to actually give you the ingredients, and they are 2.5 cups of fresh blackberries, which we have right here. We have a cup of sugar, which we're going to add to the blackberries right now, because you have to have this on there for 25 minutes so that they kind of start getting pink and start kind of weeping a little bit. So you want to do that, make sure they get really covered. And you can see them turning pink already from the sugar. Okay, so you can see that. That's a cup of sugar. So that's what is going over the berries, right? Then we need, and we're going to add this in our 360 wonderful pan. We're going to add all the other ingredients, because what we're doing is we're making, we're going to add 3 ingredients. We're going to whisk together our flour. So we have 1 cup of all-purpose flour that I already measured out, right? We have actually half a cup of melted butter. And you need to have melted butter. So that's 1 stick of butter. I use unsalted, okay? And then we need a half a teaspoon of salt, which is right here. And we have our measuring spoons. That's a half a teaspoon. So we want to add that to that. Okay. And then we have to have our cinnamon, which is a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And that's right here. And you don't want more than a half a teaspoon. So just put that in there, right? Makes it really nice. And then we have our baking powder, which is 2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's really important. So just a second, we'll just add that. So that's 2 teaspoons. That's 1 and then 2. Right, we're not sifting anything together today, so you don't have to worry about that. We're just combining this, okay? And it'll be kind of crumbly because what it's going to do, it's going to bake in the oven, and it's going to be, it's a blueberry crumble. So it's going to be kind of, and then you want to add 1 cup of flour, or not flour, 1 cup of milk, I'm sorry. So 1 cup of milk, and then you're just going to stir all this together until you have, a nice crumble batter. So here we go. And it's not like you need a mixer to do this. This is really pretty simple. I make this kind of stuff all the time, and it's really, really tasty. So we're going to let our blueberries kind of get their, get nice and all that sugar blend into it. And we're going to put this aside. We've already 375 degrees on it. We've preheated our oven. And so we're just going to continue stirring this until it's not so lumpy. And we are going to be right back here after these important messages from our sponsors with the blueberries that are already prepared, and then we'll put them on top of the batter and put them in the oven, which takes around 45 minutes at 375. So we'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I. The blackberries, the sugar has seeped into the blackberries, and after 25 minutes. Now we're going to put the batter into my 360 pan. You can use, they recommend that you use a square pan, but you can use any 8-inch pan to do this. So I'm going to add the mixture into the pan. All right. And just move it around. All right. I want to get all of it in there. So it's going to be like, it's going to look like actually like a crumble with the blackberries on top of it. And this is just a simple cake recipe. And we used it from Marina's kitchen. So we're going to move this aside, put it back here, right? And then I'm going to wipe off my hands. Right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to smooth it out with a spoon so you can see that. Right. And then we're going to put the berries on top of it, right? And that'll work. So let's do that. And then we're going to take some, I'm going to actually shake some of the cinnamon onto the top of it. So I'm going to add the berries now. And I'm going to, so I don't, well, you can use your hands, but they may, unfortunately, get red from what you're doing. So you can use gloves or whatever you want to do. So you can see that there's a lot of red there from the sugar seeping into the berries. So it's really pretty when it's done. And you'll see that. And that's 2.5 cups of berries. 2.5 cups. Seems like a lot of berries to me, but it will be so cool when it's finished. Right? And then we're going to put that into the 375 prepared ahead of time thing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to shake some cinnamon, extra cinnamon. Right. There we go. We're going to shake some cinnamon on top of it. And that's it. And then just put it in the oven, and it'll get done in 45 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven. We'll be right back after these important messages on the Chef You and I. We're back on the Chef You and I. And we're going to make my fresh watermelon salad. And some of the ingredients are 2 cups of seedless watermelon, which we've already done. My assistant did a beautiful job on it. 2 cups of fresh mozzarella pearls. And these are pearls. They're very small pieces of mozzarella, and you can get it at any of your grocery stores. Just makes it a lot easier. It's really a pretty salad when you're finished. A cup of fresh basil, green chopped, which we're going to do in a second. 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, pre-measured. 2 to 3 cups of mixed baby greens, which we have right there. And those are always washed 2 or 3 times. 1/2 cup of blueberries and balsamic vinegar. And I did 2 tablespoons. You can do a tablespoon. You don't have to use the balsamic vinegar, but in an onion. So 1 onion chopped. And it's a green onion, and it's right here. And we're going to chop that as well. That'll go in there too. And we're going to put all of our ingredients, after we chop them up, in here. And then we'll put them on the bed of beautiful lettuce. So let's do this. Let's start off with doing the wonderful basil first. And you want to take it off the stems, actually. You don't need the stems. And you know what I do with basil? And I love fresh basil. It just has a great aroma. And I had done a few here before, but I want to get this in there. So let's do this. They're basically ready to be chopped. And sometimes what I do with basil is, if it's starting to go a little bit, I take it, put it in my food processor, and put it into a wonderful bag, chop it up really fine, and freeze it so that I have basil all winter or all season long. So let's chop this up first. And we're chopping this. And when that's done, we're going to actually start putting everything together here after we chop the onion. And you're going to need about 1 to 2 tablespoons of green onion, which is actually the whole onion. Green onion. So here we go. This is going to look beautiful when we finish with it. It smells absolutely great. And if you like basil as much as I do, and I like to use a lot of fresh ingredients. So let's then cut this up. So you want to chop this. And you want to get the green part too. And you don't want to cut yourself. So be careful when you're using a knife. So anyhow, but these are simple, easy to do for your family. And this could feed a family of 5 or 6 people. And it's delicious. So I've cut some stuff down that we're making today. Okay, so we're going to add this. And we're going to add this to our salad. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually add all of our other ingredients and then put it on the bed of lettuce. So let's take our mozzarella, and it usually comes in a ball like this, and you just take it apart. It's not hard to do. Then you want to add your watermelon, and you want to add your berries, and you want to add I'm adding some raspberries to this. I love fruit in salads, so I'm just going to add a few raspberries to it because I want to decorate another dessert that I made ahead of time that I'm going to give you the recipe for, but we're not making it on the show today. So what we want to do is we want to mix everything together here, which I'm going to do before I put it on there. So here we go. So you want to mix this totally so you get the green and everything else in there. And it's really a pretty salad. Absolutely a beautiful salad. All right. And then what we want to do is we want to add some salt and pepper to it. And I use kosher pink Himalayan salt and then pepper. And that's done with that. And so now what we're doing is we're bringing this over here. Just a second. I want to clean this up a little bit. And we'll bring the platter over. Just a second. And we'll clean that off a little bit. So there we go. Now what we're going to do right here is we're going to take this and we're going to add 2 to 3 cups, which I can figure out pretty easily. And this will serve your family, right? And these are the wonderful greens. Okay, that should be enough, okay? Then what we want to do is we want to take this, move it over, and then add it to the greens, right? Like this. And this is how beautiful it is. Right? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to take that out of it. We want to add just a little bit more to it. And then we can have another salad tomorrow. How about that? Sounds good to me, right? Looks really pretty. So this actually could serve 12. So now we want to add our olive oil. And this is our olive oil, which is this is 1/3 cup of olive oil. So you just want to pour that gently over it. Some people don't even, will just like it the way it is, right? Okay, and I'll save that for the rest of it. And then here's our balsamic vinegar. And just pour that over. And then we're going to refrigerate this before we serve dinner tonight. Okay? All right. Let me clean that up a little bit. Got a little carried away there. All right, so look at how pretty that is. That's gorgeous. So we're going to put it over there so that you can see it. And look at how simple that was. I mean, what takes the time is just cutting everything up. So I'll save this for tomorrow night, and we're good to go. The next thing that we're going to make are our cucumber appetizers. Our cucumber appetizers, and they're so delicious. And you're going to pipe cream cheese with olives and tomatoes, little tiny pieces of olives and tomatoes. It's an olive kind of mixture that you make with green olives. And so we're going to do that next. And then we'll do our potatoes and onions and get ready for the grill. And by that time, our cake will be done. And I'm also going to decorate another beautiful piece that I just did. So we'll be right back after these important messages. Don't forget, it's the Kathryn Raaker's Fresh Watermelon Salad. We'll be right back. We are back on the Chef You and I, and actually we're making our appetizer, which these are what they call cucumber pickles, because they're the smaller miniature pickle, or not pickle, but cucumber. And what we're going to do is we're going to slice these lengthwise in half and take the seeds out. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So you want to cut these in half lengthways, right? And so there's the seeds in there. We're going to get rid of the seeds, right? Usually this recipe is like six cucumbers, but we don't need 6 cucumbers today. So we're using only 4 cucumbers. And so if you've got a crowd of people coming over, it's really a good, beautiful recipe, appetizer that is kind of diet friendly, actually. And it's delicious. So actually what I did was I kind of made a wonderful, I took and made an olive mixture of green olives and pimentos. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in them. Okay, pepper, because that's going to be part of it. We're using these beautiful tomatoes, which will just be little pieces in there. And this is 1/4 cup of cream cheese. And we're going to use this mixture with that and some lemon pepper that I've made, and we'll go from there. So the first thing you want to do is you want to scrape, and I have my bag well right here. Scrape the seeds out of your cucumbers, right? Because you need them to be like a boat. So it's really simple to do. And you can see it comes out easily. So that's one. All right. So then you want to take this and do the same thing all the way. Get it down as far as you can to get rid of the seeds so you have like a little boat, right? Like that. So we're doing all of them. And as soon as we get done with this, then we're going to pipe our beautiful, delicious cream cheese with olives and tomatoes inside this. And then we're going to put little dill pieces on the top of it. So it's going to be really nice. And this is nice because it is actually very healthy. And that's what we're trying to look for. In summertime, you want cool appetizers, necessarily, especially if it's hot outside, which it has been over the summer here, like in the 90-degree, all over the country. So we're doing this. We'll be almost done in a second. And then we'll pipe the wonderful cream cheese filling in here. Okay, we're now done with that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move these over to here for a minute. And we're going to make the mixture, which is just cream cheese. Cream cheese. You can see the cream cheese here. Whoops. And this is that soft cream cheese. And you can actually make more, right, if you want to. But you don't want very much in there anyhow. So here we go. And then you're going to add your olive mixture to it. All right. There we go. And then you're going to pipe it in. And I may need a little bit more cream cheese. So I may just get some more cream cheese out of here and pipe it in there. So we're going to take a little short break and we'll be right back. I'm going to get some more cream cheese. I think we need it. We are back on the Chef You and I, and I've already got our wonderful mixture that we're going to pipe into the cucumber boats. And I'm going to chop up these little tomatoes, and they're going to sit on the top of it. And then I'm going to chop up a little bit of dill, and that'll go on top just to decorate it. Okay, so let's do that. And I really love easy things to make for your family, especially when it's so hot out. And this whole summer's been in the 90s and 100s all across the country. So you want to stay cool. Drink lots of water and be hydrated. And your children, that's really important, especially, and not put them out in the middle of the day because it's too hot. Even if they're, try to go to the swimming pools a little later than earlier so they don't get so sunburned, especially in these heat advisories. You don't want them out there, especially old people. And you want to check on your neighbors. That's really important. So we're done with those, okay? And then I'm going to cut the dill, okay? So we're going to go ahead and pipe this now. Okay, and then I'll put the dill on top of it. We're back, and I'm using my deviled egg maker, wonderful thing that pipes things easily. You can use a plastic bag or a piping thing to do it, or just spoon it on into the cucumber. So what we're doing is we're actually doing it just like that. Makes it really simple, and you want to have enough to go in all of your cucumbers, right? All right, and then just keep going like that. It's pretty simple. And I think I'm going to have enough, but I need to get a little bit more in this one. All right, so that one is done. So, we're going to put it right there, and we're going to decorate it in a minute, okay? So, here's one right here that we're going to do. Right there. Then do this one. Pretty simple. All you're doing is pushing it down. I think we have enough here that we could actually give it a little bit more. All right. And add some here, add some here. And then, actually, you could add more here. Got plenty of it, actually. And it really tastes delicious. So now, I have to add more here because I'm going to add my, my wonderful, I think I'm almost done now. I don't have any more. That's it. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to add the tomato slices to it. Little tiny tomatoes. Like I said, chopped up tomatoes. And right there. And just little pieces, right? To give it some color, right? And put one there. And then just keep on doing that until you've got, and I need to cut them up a little bit more. Okay. And then, so each one of them has the tomato slices, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add our baby dill to it to decorate it, right? So, they want to wobble around, unfortunately. You can't do much about that. But here we go. And it's not that expensive to make. That's the cool part. And we try to make it economical for families when we do these kind of things. So you could do this for a wonderful party, right? Or get together of any kind. And these are easy to find in your grocery store or your market, your fresh market. And here we go. Let's put this one there and then this last one here, right? And then I'm going to add the dill to it. So let me wash my hands off for a minute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the dill up. Hold on. Let's see. So you want to kind of do this to give it that look. And I've got these. And then you just decorate it. And that's why it says about 6. It says about 6 dill. We'll clean this up in a second. So you see what I'm doing. Makes it simple. Just gives it a really nice look to it. All right. Okay. I'm not quite done yet. And we'll finish that. So here we go. You have a couple more. So here you go. So when you're finished with it, then I'd put it in the refrigerator for a little while till it gets really nice and cold, right? And then you can serve it as your first course. So, and people love appetizers, right? They just do. And so you saw how simple that was to make. So there you go. Pretty simple, easy to do, and really refreshing. We're going to take a picture in a minute up on our website, so you will be able to do that yourself. We'll be right back after these important messages, and then we're going to look at our cake, and also we're going to be doing our potatoes and onions, which I love to make for the grill, and do our pork chops. We'll be right back on The Chef You and I. We're back on The Chef You and I, and we're going to do my favorite potato recipe, and it's really simple. It's your cut up potatoes. You do not have to peel them because I think they taste better with the peel on. And these are wonderful sweet Vidalia onions with that. And the first thing I'm going to do is spray this aluminum foil, right? And that's enough. And that was with our duck fat spray from Corn Huskers, gourmet spray. Now we're going to do our onion first, okay? And this is pretty simple. Right. And you want to get off as much as you can there. Now, if you don't like onions, you can use carrots, zucchini, whatever you want if you're allergic to onions or something like that. Some people use scallions, but my husband loves Vidalia onions, and that's really the person that you're pleasing or your family. And Vidalias are so sweet, and they're out right now, and so is sweet corn. So, and I live in the Midwest, so guess what? We have great corn. We have great stuff. So let's do this first. We're going to do our potatoes, and you just cut them up in quarters like this, and make sure that, oops, and they're really delicious, and it's going to be great with the pork. And Marina suggests of Marina's Circle B Ranch pork and her recipes that you have potatoes or something, a starch with it. So I decided to do my favorite thing that my husband loves, and our kids used to love it too when they were living here. They're all grown up. They have their own families, and we just did a beautiful wedding with our granddaughter. So anyhow, we're almost done. And you can use these again in the morning. You can heat them up and have them for breakfast with those wonderful eggs out there. And so I love doing this recipe. This is really something I enjoy doing. So, and it doesn't take very long it takes around 25 minutes on the grill. And we just got a new Weber grill, which I love. And so I'm going to start doing things at night too, because it's a lot cooler. And with the grill light, I'll be able to see everything with all of their products. But I'll tell you what, Cornhuskers makes such great products too, Cornhuskers Kitchen, that it makes it easy for us to work with them, because I spray everything, including, you saw me do it for my cake. For everything that I make, I use Cornhuskers. And it's really it's a gourmet spray. It's a duck fat spray, and it's really actually very healthy. So I'm almost done with these, and when I'm finished, right, then I can do the wonderful onions. But you don't want them too big. So those look really good. So I'm going to put those on here. Okay, and it doesn't matter if they're not peeled. It's not a big deal. Okay, right, and sometimes I put carrots and other things in, which taste delicious. But then I'm going to put my onions in there. That's too big, I think. There we go. And a few more. And then let's do the onions. Okay. So I'm going to do the onions like this. I'm not going to cut them in major slices. I like them kind of chopped. So it doesn't matter how you do this part. So anyhow, my husband loves onions. And that's one thing I can eat are onions, especially cooked onions. So, but no garlic. Well, I don't know why, but it just does happen. Okay. So let's do that. Great. Okay. Put all those onions in there. I'm going to put that down. So like I said, it doesn't take that long. And I'm going to use some Himalayan salt. And I'm going to put butter also on here. So you just do this. Makes it really simple. Right. Like I said, doesn't take long. All right. There. Just spread those out. And then I'm going to use some sputter and deer fat spray. And we'll go from there. And oh, I forgot to use this. This I make myself now, since most of the lemon and pepper in this world is actually got garlic in it. So I learned how to make a garlic-free lemon and pepper. And basically, it's really simple. So we're just going to go like that. And, right, and oh, I made a limoncello kind of a cake. Not a cake, it's really kind of like a graham cracker pie. Really good. So I'll show you that, and then I'm going to put some nectarines and raspberries on top of it. I'll give you the recipe, but I didn't do it on the show today. So just spray those a little bit. And then what you want to do is add a little bit of butter. We're going to put that on the grill. And it's going to we're going to put that on this, I think we're going to put it on the same time as the pork chops. So I'm not sure. But that's what we're going to do. And a lot of people can't eat a lot of salt. So basically, you don't have to use salt, but I like to use a little bit of Himalayan salt. And the lemon pepper gives you the pepper. Okay, so we'll wrap that up. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. And we're going to be making we're going to put the pork chops on the grill, and we're going to put the potatoes on the grill, but also we're going to decorate a beautiful piece that I just finished, the other dessert that I finished. And we're going to put this, so let's do that. We'll be right back on The Chef You and I, right after these important messages. We're out on our back deck, and we're cooking on our new Weber grill, which I love, by the way. And we're doing our marinated pork chops from Circle B Ranch in Marina's kitchen, and also with our potatoes and onions. And it's going to take around probably 20 minutes until the pork chops actually get done. So we'll come back in a few minutes or so when they're getting ready to be done. We'll keep on checking on them. But in the meantime, we're going to back in the house and actually decorate a beautiful piece that I made over the last couple of days. I'm going to put nectarines and raspberries on this dessert, and we're going to also add our whipped cream to the dessert that we made, the blackberry wonderful crumble. We'll be right back on The Chef You and I. We're back on The Chef You and I, and over the last couple of days, I made a summer fruit tart, and I am going to have the recipe and a picture up there, but we actually didn't have time to make it on our program today. But basically, it's pretty simple. Let me give you some of the ingredients. You actually can use 9 graham cracker sheets, which is about 5 ounces. I already had actually ground graham crackers, so I use 5 to 6 ounces, which is about a half a cup. And then 5 tablespoons of coconut oil melted, a fourth of a cup of brown sugar, and a half a teaspoon of sea salt. And you don't have to put the salt in it. All right, that is the crust. And then what you do is you combine that with your melted, your coconut oil, right? Or you can use butter. And then for the filling, it's 16 ounces of cream cheese, 2/3 a cup of powdered sugar, a fourth of a cup of unsalted and untoasted cashews, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and instead of using lemon juice, I used my homemade limoncello. And then 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 either ripe peaches or nectarines pitted and sliced, and then a half a cup of raspberries or cherries that have been pitted. So we're going to use nectarines, and I've already done it. So we're going to slice the nectarines, right? And I'm going to actually put them on top of the 2 pieces that I did already, which turned out really pretty. And I think you're gonna love this recipe. It's absolutely delicious. I already got a chance to taste it, and I was really impressed with it. It was so easy to make. And I'm gonna do that. One of these right there. And here you do this. And I'm gonna slice this a little bit. Okay, so there you go. And there, so here we go right there. And then we're going to add our raspberries in between. So hold on. There we go. And these nectarines are absolutely delicious. Not that I don't love peaches, but I have to tell you, this is nectarine season right now, and it's really unbelievably, they're so juicy, they taste so good. And this is like an 8-inch, the one right here is an 8-inch, and this one is a 10-inch. Or no, maybe this is a 9-inch. 9-inch. And it's so, they're easy to make. It just takes time because you have to do your crust, and then you have to make this, and it has to set, and it takes overnight. So when you make the filling, it has to go overnight. And that's really pretty. And I'll just use this one more. And I can't wait to try it. I've been waiting all night to try it, and I'm excited. So there's one. I need one more here. All right. And then one more here. And look at that. Isn't that really pretty? And one over here. So that's one. Now we're going to do this other one, and I'm going to put it on a cake plate, but I'm just going to show you how easy this is. So I still have some of my nectarine, right? So it'll go right here. Maybe I'm going to slice that in half. Okay. Go like that. And that. And you could put more nectarines on here or peaches. But I decided, since the nectarines were so delicious this year, that I had to do it. So I think you'll love it as much as I do. And I think your family will like it too, right? So anyhow, I think the two of them are delicious. I can't wait to try it tonight with our dinner. And we're almost done. I don't know how far we are with our pork chops, but I think we're almost done. So let's go out and check out the pork chops right now, and we'll be right back in the kitchen. I'm going to open up the grill, and we're going to look at the pork chops and look and see how they look. Oh, wow, they look gorgeous. See, that's the marinade right there. You have to see this. This is beautiful. So you can see how pretty they turned out, and they look like they're almost done. And then we're going to put another glaze that we're going to make in just a few minutes to put on top of the actual pork chops. And we used half of that recipe for it, so it looks pretty good to me. I wonder how the potatoes are doing. They're doing great. So let's just turn it down. We'll go out and get a thermometer and check out if they're done inside. We'll be right back. We are back now on the Chef You and I, and we want to thank our sponsors, and that is 360 Cookware, actually Huskers Kitchen, and the duck fat spray, the gourmet duck fat spray, and also Circle B and Marina's Kitchen for providing us with a lot of things that we use today, everything from the pork chops and all of the other stuff and the recipes. We want to thank them. But I want to tell you exactly what we made today, and that was a Kathryn Raaker's fresh watermelon salad. We did, that's right there. We did the marinated pork chops and the potatoes and onions. We did the blueberry crumble, and we also did the pickled, or not pickled, we also did the cucumbers, the small, they're like pickled cucumbers, and we had wonderful cream cheese and olive. And then that's wonderful. What can I say? It's just a beautiful, beautiful feast. We want to thank you all for joining us today on The Chef You and I. And I also want you to go to our website at thechefyouandi.com so you can get the recipes. And if you have a recipe that you want to send in, send it to me at kraaker123@gmail.com. And that's kraaker123@gmail.com. We'd love to try some of your recipes. And I want to say bon appetit. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining us on the Chef You and I show today. We'll be back next week with another great and healthy recipe. Don't forget to visit our website, thechefyouandi.com, for all of our featured recipes, cooking tips, and clips of the show.